Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to that presentation. False ego nurse. Yes, I do understand. It's a little challenging so far for those spirit souls tortured by a female body. But don't worry, those spirit souls tortured in a male body, they will get their heavy lessons as well. Well, it takes a little bit of time. Because as you know, men are always a little bit slow. Men are slow. Yeah. All those spirit souls in female bodies, they will understand, who are married, they will understand, well, the husband, it takes him so long to understand things, right? So no worries, we're getting there, and I do understand it is challenging. Because what we discussed is basically the complete opposite we are conditioned with in the material Western, in the Western world, in the material world. It's completely opposite to our conditioning. So it will be challenging, to say the least. But we will get there. We just finish up with the false ego nurse before we actually go to the presentation of female superiority. So don't worry, we're getting there. Please hang in here with us, and there will be so much benefit in understanding this topic from different angles. And I'm trying just to present a little foundational common ground here, so to speak, from which we then can explore that topic even deeper. But that's part of the initial presentation. It's important to understand men are slow, right? We discussed that before, and everyone who's married, every lady who is married will know. Why does he not get it? Right? It's like incomprehensible. How can he not understand those, whatever those things are? Right? So men don't even know themselves that they have a nothing box. We discussed before, men only think about a relationship if there is a problem. If everything is fine, a man does, anyway, to his perspective anyway, a man doesn't waste any thought into anything, not just a relationship. If whatever he deals with is fine, according to his perspective, he will not analyze it more deeply. He doesn't care. It's working. It's fine. Why wasting a thought? So similarly, that's also with a man's needs. I didn't know what I need before I got married, and I didn't have it anymore. Then it takes forever to figure that out, to even start the process of, wait a minute, what's wrong here, right? Even that takes time. And understandably, ladies get really annoyed. Wives get really annoyed with that, about that with their husband. Why does it take him so long to get those simple things? Because he's not thinking about it. He doesn't probably even recognize it as anything wrong. And then that's when, that's when it starts. The whole process starts. He has to figure out something is not quite right. And once he figures that out, his first strategy is, well, it'll fix itself. Let's give it some time. And when that doesn't work, well, then there will be slowly something going on. So it's the same with his needs. And it's a good thing. It's a really good thing for the lady, for the wife. Why? And now we get to that one. Now let's finish that false ego nurse aspect. And that's such an important part of the presentation to understand, that false ego nurse, how it actually benefits the lady even more than the man. In different ways. Right? And we'll discover that hopefully. So, why is it good that a man even doesn't know his own needs? Right? Because then the lady has an easy game, to actually conquer his heart. Okay? And that's what we'll discover now. Now, nothing box. A man doesn't know he has this nothing box until he has to figure it out because he may not get it anymore. We discussed it in the first section, basically, of the presentation in length, the nothing box. A man doesn't know, because he always has it. It's normal for him, and only if he doesn't have that nothing box time anymore, which by default he has until he's married, to a certain extent, he takes that time without any problem. Then he'll think about it. So he enters marriage not knowing that whole nothing box thing. All right? And the man needs two things. There's actually two important needs for a man, especially in a relationship. One is a man actually thrives. We discussed that hopefully as well, if I remember right. He thrives on the female energy. That's the inspirational energy to him. We discussed that in the male movie theater, at least a part of it. That's what makes a man thrive. Fills him with pride. Will make him will actually bring the best out of the man. And that's simply the presence of that female energy. And if that's directed in the proper way, then it inspires him to create things, right? Inspires him to be a great devotee, be a responsible husband, and so on. We discussed that briefly. So that's simply by the presence of the female energy. That's one aspect, one thing the wife brings into his life. It's that inspirational energy. Right? And then he needs the false ego nurse. And it seems like, the lady has to do so much, it's all on her. No. It's easy. We don't have to overcomplicate things. The man doesn't know the nothing box. Okay? For example, that's one aspect of false ego nurse, right? Understanding the nothing box and providing him with the time he needs for himself. What does it mean? The lady doesn't have to do anything. The wife basically, let's junior position wife, in the learning, just married, junior position, getting used to the whole process, how it works, doesn't have to do anything. Nothing box for the man means she only has to do nothing. There's no art attached to it yet. The more skillful and the more the lady understands the art, the more refined the whole thing will be, and the more it plays to her advantage. But in the very basic understanding, she just don't do anything, do nothing, as the wife. But here's a little secret, and that's so. It's hopefully an eye-opener. How simple a man's brain is. He doesn't know he has that need for nothing box. He doesn't even know he did that all his life so far. Now comes that inspirational female energy into his life, and he feels all like the hero, and like he wants to just make it all happen. He feels that pride, he feels that inspiration to do things, to provide, to be a good husband, to be a great devotee, whatever. Obviously, if the inspiration comes, it automatically opens all up in his heart. The first 17 months, it said, the hormones are just flooding, and the brain doesn't work, and it's all just la la land. There comes the lady into his life, and boom. And I can say it's really like that, right? It's really like that for a man. And he doesn't know he has that nothing box. And I think I mentioned it before, when men and women come together, because that inspirational energy is so strong, he doesn't even need that nothing box so much until that, that whole romance phase, that buzz phase in the beginning of a relationship wears slowly off, and a relationship actually becomes work, right? He doesn't even need that so much, because he's really sucking up that female inspirational energy he receives from that relationship. Yeah. So now, if that lady enters that relationship knowing a man needs that nothing box time, that recharge time, she can use that and just invest an absolute minimal amount of energy giving that time to the man. But not just like that. Say that he comes home, it's a bit huffy and puffy because of something at work or something with a devotee at a temple or whatever it is. Or even if he just comes home and looks a little bit fatigued. It doesn't even have to be a big issue there. What can the lady do? She can just tell the guy, hey, why don't you have a shower and just sit down and relax a bit? And he will be so grateful. Oh wow, she really understands what I need. So what the lady does in that moment is rebranding. It's just marketing. Rebranding the nothing box he has already anyway, but doesn't know it. She just sticks her own name on. And he thinks it comes from her, or she gives me the time I need. She is so wonderful. She understands me. Where in fact she just pushes the buttons. She just uses the mechanics. Obviously, the more deeper a relationship gets, the more the wife will understand, the different tastes of the husband, the different moods. And we hear about that soon as well, right? And can even more expertly do the marketing. And what it does, it fully entangles his heart. Entangles his heart. He will be completely smitten by her, And ultimately, she doesn't have to do anything except rebranding what he already has, as if it comes from her. So not only is that female energy which is suddenly in his life, but also that care, or tell him, just relax, have a shower, have that drink. Oh, do you like that sweet? Do you like that snack? Give him that time in that nothing box, and he thinks he can relax because of the wife, because of you. Whereas the only thing you do is rebranding it, telling him what he would do anyway, but he feels and believes it comes from you. And it's only rebranding what he already has. It's still the nothing box. Don't think that suddenly you can pop into that nothing box and change it all. No, then it doesn't work anymore. You give him that space he needs to recharge, and he thinks the energy comes from you. Yes, there is female energy coming from you, that inspirational aspect, but not that recharging aspect. But he will believe that comes from you as well, because he hasn't wasted a thought in his life about his nothing box. And you may think, oh no, don't tell him then, otherwise it doesn't work anymore. No, it will still work even if the man knows about the nothing box. Right? It will still work. Because why? Men are not women. Right? There's this, for men it doesn't really matter why, as long as it's sincere from the heart, why the wife is doing it. He doesn't care as long as he got his needs fulfilled. Right? Whereas for a lady, the motivation matters a lot. Why he's doing things, why he's saying things. The motivation matters a lot to a lady, whereas for a man it doesn't really matter, as long as there's some sincerity there. Even if there's sincerity in a man, still, when he does something for his wife, she will still question his motivation. Well, there's sincerity there, she can feel it, but why does he do it now? And there's a funny example, again, from Love Your Way to a Better Marriage, from the lusty pastor. He recalls an encounter, a lady coming up to him crying, oh, my husband, my husband, he always washes the dishes at night. And he's like, so where's the problem then? So many ladies would wish the husband would help, after washing up at night, after cooking or something. Yeah. So what's the problem, he asked. And the lady said, I was asking him why he's doing that. And he said, because he hates dirty dishes. And again, the pastor didn't know. So what's the issue? And she answered, I want him to do it because he loves me. Not accepting, all right, he's washing dishes. What's the big deal? No, the motivation is wrong. A man is not like that. Even if he sees, all right, if he learns about the nothing box and he sees you using it to put you giving him that time, or just have a shower, just lay down for 5 minutes, put your feet up, whatever it is, and he sees, and he even knows that you learned about the nothing box, and you apply it, it will still capture his heart. Even if your motivation, as long as, because there's affection there. There's affection there in a relationship. There's no question about that. Even if he sees that, well, maybe there is some motivation that, well, if the quicker he recharges, the more time he'll be able to spend with her. Even if he senses something like that, he will still love it. And it will still conquer his heart. The motivation does not matter so much as long as the affection and the sincerity is there. And he will lovingly submit. Even though he knows you are pressing buttons. Whereas when the husband is trying to press certain buttons, it's then, oh, do you really mean it? Are you just doing that because I told you to? Oh, man can't win, right? It doesn't work. Because the motivation is so important. There should be coming something from the heart. Now, here's the secret. You push the buttons in a man, give him, as a wife, give him his basic needs, rebranding it as if it comes from you, that conquers his heart, thinking he gets so much out of his wife, out of the relationship. His wife is so kind. He's, and then he wants to reciprocate. Then he wants to reciprocate from the core of his heart. And then when he does things, he can actually, sincerely give you the right motives. Then he has the right motives to do things, to reciprocate. And then the wife will be also satisfied because she sees he has the right motives. He just doesn't want to get, I better press those buttons and then maybe, she'll be all right. There won't be a drama, all those things, man can have in his mind. The lady won't accept it, but if his heart is conquered, then naturally the motivation will be right. Naturally, the lady will then receive as reciprocation what she needs with the right motivation. And all it takes is that understanding, nothing box again. That's why I think it's so important. It just so that whole mechanical aspect. It's just so much, and that understanding of false ego nurse. Again, husband goes out, battle. She just puts a band-aid on and sends him out again. And every time one slice of false ego is gone and healed and gone and healed and gone and healed. And he becomes more and more selfless. And because she takes care of him so nicely, again, he's so indebted and affectionate and reciprocates to her. That's how a lady conquers the heart of a man. And on the junior level, entry level, the only thing she has to do is nothing. And then the more the relationship develops, the more she understands his needs and his tastes and his likes and dislikes and so on, the more expertly she can do that rebranding and capture his heart. And just in case you missed it, I spell it out. For all the ladies, for all the spirit souls and female bodies. I just served you the heart of the man on a silver platter to take. Take it. It's not difficult. In the association of devotees, I'm happy to share that. I wouldn't do it in a women's right club at the university or something. That knowledge would be exploited. But in the association of devotees, it's a fair thing to share, a safe thing to share, simply because we all need harmony. We need a certain level of peace in our lives to be able to practice devotional service in our neophyte state. We can't wait for the perfect conditions, but we need a certain level of peace. And that's what devotee cares about, right? Being materially well situated. And since most of us are in the Grihasta Ashrama, the major part of our lives, well, we have to be able to create this harmony, those favorable conditions. And if we don't understand the art of how to cooperate within the Grihasta Ashrama, there won't be any peace. We won't be materially well situated. And yes, it's almost counterintuitive of what the wife should be doing, if you want to use that expression. It doesn't sound generally again, the wife should be doing this. It's immediately some false ego hiccup in the heart. No, the whole point is the wife. It's almost counterintuitive from our conditioning what we should be doing to create that harmony, to create that cooperation. And again, it's so simple. Rebranding something he already has, and that makes him believe it comes from the wife. Two things. The female energy he gets, well, three things. The female energy he gets from the wife, the inspirational. Then the rebranded nothing box coming from the wife. And then she cooks for him, according to his taste and likes. Bang! He's yours! So easy. Men are so simple. That's all that's needed. He will be yours forever. Promise. There's no question about it, no doubt about it. He will be yours forever. It's not even rocket science. It's so simple. Yes, it goes completely against our conditioning. But let's see a little bit more about female superiority in the coming sessions. So far, it was very, very extremely challenging for a lady, for the false ego. The heart will protest. Naturally, because it goes all against whatever material conditioning we have. Right? So I understand, until now, it was very challenging. And it will still be challenging for the ladies. And for the men, it's probably like, oh yeah, keep on telling, come on. But we can all probably already now see that now it will change a little bit. Now it will become more and more clear how much the man actually depends on the lady, on the wife. So much so. For the purification of his false ego, we need the wife or the mother. For most of us, we need a wife. Without the wife, it will be very difficult to engage in devotional service because we are keeping ourselves out of it, because we can't tolerate it, because our false ego is so strong. Right? And the more that dependence on the wife, actually, when we realize actually the position of the wife, mother, that not the biological mother, that mother thing, there are 7 mothers. What's that supposed to mean? And we're not discussing that so much in that presentation. Once a man realizes that, oh well, that's very humbling, because he thinks he's so strong and big and independent and whatnot. No, he's so dependent on the ladies. But we don't understand their superiority, because, fair enough, it's Kali Yuga, there are no men around, neither are there any proper women around. Sorry to say. But that's not, it can be changed. If we understand those mechanics, then everything will come out in the proper way, and we'll discover that. So the next session we talk about female superiority. And since men are slow, it will take them some time to realize that. So give them that time. The more they realize that, the more humble they will be. And the more they will be able to reciprocate in the proper way. But time in the modern age of Kali Yuga, right, in the fast food time, everything has to be instant. Well, that won't work like that. Again, one of the qualities for a woman is patience. That's one of the most important qualities, especially in this age of Kali, to acquire. Then success will be almost guaranteed. But that patience needs to be there. So let's discover that more. And yes, now it will become, now the tides will, the tide will change. Now we will discover more and more the greatness of the role of women. But we had to approach the topic the way I tried to present it. Hopefully you made it until here if you're in the female body and not switched off before, and I can't listen to that anymore. Because now it's actually will become very clear how much dependent men are actually on the ladies. And the proper use of their superior energy. So hope you'll stay with me. For the ladies, it will be easier to follow. Some men will think, well, I don't want to go there. No, please come. Please go as well there. And we will all benefit from that a lot. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.